What's up, everybody? How we doing? We got a beautiful day here in Charlotte, North Carolina. We're gonna do. I don't know. I've been thinking about what to like. What's the next thing? Um, and something that I've wanted to do for a while, and I've attempted it, and because I wanted to do it for training our volunteers, training our programmers, and it just never really came about the way I wanted to. So we're going to try this. We're going to try this avenue a little bit, and want to get this recording started on the old MA web remote, which came in real handy. I had to do some patching on the stage, and I was underneath. We got some choir decks for Reflect, and I was under there trying to get some stuff, and came in handy so I didn't have to walk all the way back to the console right here. So anyway, if you don't have it hooked up, highly recommend it. But anyway, something that I've wanted to do for a long time and it just never really came about was, and I think I was a little ambitious. I call it like 5-minute sequence, and it's like, okay, you can take a sequence and in 5 minutes you can have, something great. And I tried it, and 5 minutes is tough. So I think 10 minutes is a more realistic endeavor, but I also think that's a little ambitious because you're just trying to work so fast. So instead of putting a time limit on it, what I want to walk through is really, let's say you've got a handful of minutes and you need to get something put together that has that looks good, that has dynamics, and kind of covers which is dynamics, covers the range of what the song is, has a down, a big, and a middle, like a down and an end, like kind of the arc of a song, while also being able to take advantage of any of your busking stuff. So this is a disclaimer, before we get started, I have, us taking us or assuming that we have busking stuff built. So we have hits, we have movement, we have color, we have dimming, we have all of that already built. And we only have a little bit of time to just whip something together. So there's that. You can look at it through that filter, that frame of mind. Or you can look at it as, okay, how do I get started with a new song? Because something that I'm going to be walking through is I'm going to try to kind of slow down. I operate pretty slow anyway, but kind of slow down my process that I'm doing in real time to get things done quickly, kind of breaking it down into the steps that I lay out, which is, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's in an article, Technologies for Worship magazine. Look it up. There's my website has links to that, but basically there's kind of a handful of there's 3 buckets that I kind of go through in terms of like when I start to program is invest in the look, color, and then support the song. So you're going to see me kind of investing in the look, you're going to see me add color, and then you're going to see me support the song. I don't know what the song is. The intent for this is just a generic look that you can quickly build that has something for you to just sort of throw at whatever. If you get that call, hey, we're swapping out for this song, and you don't have it programmed, and you go, well, I don't know what we got for it. This will work, and you can busk on top of it, everything like that. I've rambled enough. Let's get into it. So I've got haze rolling, but the AC isn't really on, so it's going to be a little hit or miss. So what we're going to do, and this is just something that I'm in the headspace. I get a call, hey, we're going to do this song. I go, this is the process that I walk through. Okay, so we're going to just store an empty sequence. I'm going to select it here so you can see it. I'm going to do store cue 2 through 10. My first cue is going to be Mark. Second cue is going to be verse. Second cue is going to be chorus. Verse, chorus, build, big, another chorus, down, oops, and end. Something that I also do is I'll go into my fade time. I'm actually not going to take my 0 cue. I'm just going to set those to 4 seconds. There's no rhyme or reason for that. If you like 2 seconds, do 2 seconds. If you like 0 seconds, 0 seconds is great. The other thing that I do, and I wonder if I can just put this on 1 so you can see it. It's not showing up there. Maybe you can kind of see it here, but I have kind of a default, but we're going to label this just generic 1. And then I always set the color to, no good because it's not ready. And that's pretty much it. Now I've got my container, right? So this is the investing in the look part. I'm building my container. I've got my cue list here. I've got my fade times. We're all good. Now I'm going to go to mark. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all my movers. We're just going to do in down look. This is probably another disclaimer as well. I'm going to turn those off. Is I will also, this is also assuming you have presets. Presets are important. You need them, use them, love them, like them, need them, take care of them, invest in them. And for this, for like my washes, I'm just putting them in just a color that I like. I like blue. So now I've got, right off the bat, I've got my movers in a look, and they're just in default white, and I have them on and then off. So we're going to turn those on, and then we'll grab our washes as well. We're going to turn those on. So that's just like a generic look right off the bat. That's basically nothing. It's too bright. Colors aren't there, which is fine. So now we're going to go into the verse, which is pretty down. And we're going to just kind of create a look really fast. Let's kill our washes. I also don't have to select them. I have a group here, so I can do that. And same with movers. We're going to turn those off as well. I just want the Diablos for this one. Let's just turn the Diablos on, see how that looks, and then give me my 155s. Cool. So that's that look. Now the verse, let's just take the assumption that it's a little bit lifted. And then let's go ahead and grab our 660s and 640s here on the bottom. And we're going to turn those to full, just to get some dynamics going. Back into the verse, we're actually going to keep our 660s. We're going to kill our 155s. And we're going to kill our quantum washes. Back into the chorus, we're going to do that classic rinse and repeat. And then we're going to go into a build, which we don't have the solos on. And just because we don't have anything on, we're going to add those. And then big, we're going to do, yep, you guessed it, a crowd look. And I actually have a fan, I think, that I'm going to, or a spread rather. No. We're going to do this. Super bright. Back into the chorus, which we're going to, we're just going to bring these down because I'm not really sure what we're going to do with those. And then we're going to go back to a down look, which means we're going to grab, we're going to do classic, just down, and honestly, let's turn all of our movers off, and we're going to kill our, yeah, we're going to kill our 155s. Let's do this. So we have our 155, or excuse me, our 660s. Someone's at my door. 660s. I'm going to do our solos. And then end, and we're not going to really do much with the end there other than we'll just grab these and we'll turn them down. Just so there's information there. So this is that, like, when I say program in binary, this is what I mean. It's just on off. It's it's big. It's down. Okay, this is a build. Okay, we're adding the 660 or the solos up top. Big. Yep. Oh man, it's so bright, so big. And then come down. That's which the chorus. That's not what I want to do with the down actually. So let's change that, and then a down, which is everything. Cool. Now let's do some refinement. So we have the start of the song. Let's kill our 155s. Don't really want that. And let's actually kill our quantums. Let's see what that gets us. Great. So something that is also a refinement, and this is something that I personally don't love, is just, so you see how the 660s, it's just a wall of light right there. I personally don't love that. I like gradients. So we're going to do a 10 through 65 through 10, see what that looks like. Cool. Great. My number one rule is no, during this invest in the look, no effects. So you're not going to see me adding effects here. I'm just dialing in. I'm just investing in the look. I'm like, what does this look like? What does this feel like? Cool. So the mark cue, which is kind of getting everything set into the verse, it's a pretty big jump. So what we're going to do is 155s. We're just going to remove dimmer from that, so those stay off. We're going to grab our washes also, delete dimmer from that as well, so those stay. So basically the only thing that turns off into the verse is the solos, and honestly, I want to keep them in. Delete, remove, dimmer. Let's keep those in. Cool. So there's really not much happening between the mark cue and the verse cue. The chorus, there's quite a bit happening. The 660s, I don't want anything to change there. Cool. Yeah, the quantums can come on. They're a little too bright though. I want to save that for later. Oops. So let's just kind of creep them in a little bit. And then back into the verse. Yeah, let's roll with that. Then the second chorus is typically a little bit more amped up, but I don't want the 155s so bright. And I don't want that many, so I have this alt 155 that just basically cuts the middle one out. So I like that. Quantum's still too bright. Let's match the brightness of the chorus before, which is 30%. And then, yeah, so for the build, the solos are coming in full. That's really the only thing happening. And I'm okay with that. And then we got the big, which is, big and punchy. I've got this fan or the spread outlook for the quantums. I think I'm going to do that instead of this in, kind of this in and up. I want it to kind of go out. And same with the Diablos. Let's actually just go straight overhead. And don't like that either. Let's do, there's something that needs updated. Let's do that for the big for right now. Oh, no. We're going to use this cue because I like it. It's named Santi. Santiago made that cue, so we named it after him. He's on our team. He's great. And then we have chorus. So it's this big look, and then this chorus. So the quantums are going back down, which is really kind of taking away energy. I want them to sort of stay up there, which is the only information we had in there. The other thing that I'm thinking about is I am thinking about effects. I'm thinking about phasers down the road in that next part. So I am thinking about that. So anything that doesn't really have anything, I'm kind of earmarking in my head, I'm going to do something there from a phaser standpoint. But I want the look to be there. And we're pretty close. Let's look at the down look. It's too down. It's too much, too down. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this, turn the Diablos back on, turn those off. So we go from here, this will come down. Everything sort of comes down and goes off. Yeah, that's decent. And then an end. Something that I like to do is just to turn off the Diablos. Sometimes I'll add them back in depending on what we're going into. But for the sake of this, we're going to add it in. The other thing, I've got these Diablos for the band that we will add those in. The band is currently moved up, so they're not really going to be seen. But add that to Q1, and boom, they're in all of the other cues. So now we've kind of invested. We've done a couple of passes. We've got some dynamics. The binary look, but we don't have any color. So let's go ahead and let's look at color. And if you don't have color in terms of visuals, those aren't decided yet. Just go with something you like. I'm pretty partial to orange and cyan or orange and magenta, so that's something that I know looks really nice. And so I'm gonna there it is. So I'm gonna lean that direction, and we're gonna see. It's turned solo off. Let's see how these look. Those are a little bright for what I am wanting. So now I am making some decisions based on. So we're investing in the look. So that I'm keeping that, going back to investing in the look. Yeah, we're play with color, but invest in the look. So the 660s and everything on the upstage, it's just too bright. I went a little bit too bright on that. So we're gonna do 10 through 35 through 10, which you got to pay attention to your selection here. I have this vertical one here. So yeah, 10 through 30 through 10. Yeah, that's better. And I keep my solos at full just because they have they're pointed down, and I'm actually relying on those to give some color to the stage. So the other, so we're happy with that color palette right there. The only thing that we need to sort out color-wise are the quantum washes. So what we're going to do is we're going to, again, my hard and fast rule is no more than 3 colors. And basically 2 saturated colors and then like a desaturated. What I like to do is 1 saturated, 1 desaturated. But it just depends on what's going on with visuals, what actually makes sense on stage in this context. So if you notice, in this context, we're going to do 2 colors and then a pop color. The band, you can kind of see them there. I will play with both colors that we're working with and see what works best. And that's kind of the skin tone. It's kind of what they're wearing. There's a few things that come into factor because they are so prevalent. They are on camera, so it does matter. I can't really do green. I can't really do super saturated colors because it makes them look weird. So got to be careful there. But if you notice, I stored my color back in Q1. So when the quantums come in, they don't come from white into that color. They just come in that color. Super important. Something that I'm also going to change. It's in their default focus. We're going to open that all the way up. We're going to make it a flood, wide open. Again, storing it in Q1, so when it comes on, it's there. We're going to go back into the verse. Not really much changes there. Into the chorus. This alt, these 155s, I think just come in. Oh, it's the second chorus. Yeah, let's look at 10%. Let's do that. It looks a little bit better. And then we got the build, which adds the solos back, the solos come in full. What we're going to do on this build here is we're actually going to go to this look first into the build, and we're actually also going to do a flood. So when we go into the builds up, and then into the big cue. So we kind of have two things of movement happening. I don't know if I totally love that, but and then into the chorus, which there's not much happening dynamics in terms of the overall look. My thing is the effects or phasers, whatever you want to call them, are a continuation of the look. They aren't the look themselves. So when we get into this big, that's kind of there's motion happening. There's probably a big swell that leads into the chorus. So in this chorus is where I'm going to have some movement going on, and then we're just going to look at the down look. Pretty happy with that. These we're actually going to grab, and I don't know why it's doing that, but yeah, we're gonna. So I don't really love that because I can still see sources so prevalent. So we're gonna zoom it down, and what I'm also going to do is throw it out of focus, so it's a little softer. So as that comes down, again, these are all just 4-second fades. So, and then an end, which everything fades out. So currently as it is, we have something that we can easily, busk to. We can add, we can add movement. We can add, some position stuff. We still have our hits. We can do all kinds of, I don't know how long that has been so far, but as it stands right now, we have the bones are there, so that you have something to work with. You have a foundational look to do something with. So with this chorus, and this is where I'm going to add some phasers. I really want, and again, also thinking about, so this is the supporting the song portion. Once we get into that like last chorus, or it's really big or what have you, let's let this kind of big, this last chorus be the thing that has all the bells and whistles. But you have to think about who's your character. So, if you, earlier I was mentioning the 660s and this mark Q in the verse is too bright. That's because I don't want them to be the main character. I want the Diablos to be the main character. So in the overall look, I want the Diablos. Now when we go here, again, Diablos are the main character, but they have some support roles coming in with the Quantums because they came in, they were super hot in terms of the, that would be, now I've got some competing, do I do I look up here? Do I look down there? Where am I looking? So I want them to just come in and be a support role, which is why I also opened up the zoom on them, so they just sort of fall into obscurity. And then we're going to go into the verse, which they go away. Now, this is something that I will say is in the verse, they go away. I don't want them to go away. The Quantums, and you may not have a fixture that does this, and that's fine. Just turn it like way down. You can sort of do the same thing. The Quantum washes have a lens glow on them, so they can have a color on the lens, but it can output a different color. It makes the lens look different, but it might output a blue, but the lens is orange. So it looks really cool, but it's a nice little asset to have for something like this, where I want this look, but I don't want the beams. So when I go to this, the beams go away, but the actual fixture stays. Now, I don't want their default color. I want to go to what was already there in this particular context, or let's see how, matching that magenta or really indigo type look works out. Let's throw that in Q1. So we go from this look into the second verse, and now the feeling on the stage changes, but the output is there's nothing on the output. You're just seeing the color. Back into now with this one, what's kind of trippy is now they look magenta or indigo rather on the lens, but it's actually outputting orange, which looks nice. I'm going to keep it. I'll keep that. The build goes to this big kind of, you're starting to see, lights coming out into the audience. But again, main character is the Diablos. So they're punching out, they're carrying the big look. I've pulled the 155s down, and then now the big look, now we have a shift. So my heavy hitter in terms of brightness are the quantums. Now there's a shift in who the main character is. Now, again, I haven't changed, I don't think brightness changed. Let me just confirm that. Yeah, we're still at 30%, but the perception, this feels dimmer, this feels brighter, because it is. They're shining in your face. But the actual brightness hasn't changed. But quantum washes are my heavy hitter, so I still have the ability to do hits that have impact. I built this white hit also, which is kind of nice. But I still have impact, but I also have in the chorus, if I wanted to, I could definitely make these go brighter. So, and I'm probably not going to, as far as just making them brighter. I'm probably going to do some sort of phaser effect. And what I want to do is do that across all of them. So we're going to grab, I'm just going to solo those up. And we're going to do, so I have a coastline template that takes them across all of them. And I kind of like that, but I actually want to do, and I actually have a preset for this as well. Not random. I don't want that. I want a symmetrical, in and out. I also have, this is not necessarily a hard and fast rule, but these are things that I just do out of instinct. Is I personally do not like, unless there's an absolute need for it, a dim tilt flyout, or you're just trying to have those high dynamics of your dimmer effects. I don't like a 0 to value. I like a 10 to 50 or 10 to 20. I don't like fixtures going all the way off. And some of that has to do with camera, making sure there's always some level of light on stage. So there's not these large gaps of light, brightness happening. So some of that's helpful. So and each fixture is different. So you do it to the main one, and then you go, okay, I got to tweak the quantums. I got to tweak the Diablos. They're going a little too far off, or maybe they're not going off enough. So you got to tweak them, but this is okay. So I got a nice dimmer effect going on. Let's actually kill the house lights. And then we have our down look. It's like, okay, that's nice. That looks good. And then our end. So that's, I'm not sure how much time that took us, but it's just basically it's a way to organize your thoughts in a way that's like, okay, there is a level of, oh shoot, I've got to have programming for something in 30 minutes. What am I going to do? Just walk through that. Invest in the look, color, support the song. Have your I've walked through that process hundreds of times. So for me, it's just, store 10 cues. Here's my cue list. Here's my fade times. And then let's say you build all that and you get through it and you're like, it's only been 10 minutes. I got 20 more minutes. Okay. Invest in the look, change fade times, add some phasers, add some effects. Maybe, try to, do the easy stuff. So things like programming in binary. Oh, it might be big. Okay, let's point the lights out. And then walk through, try to get as many passes as you can and just keep chipping away at it, keep refining it, keep tweaking things until you get to something that, okay, like this is, now the other thing that I will say, I added phasers in that last bit. Try to keep phasers to a minimum. The only reason why I say that is rely on your busking sequences, because if the mindset is for this to be just a generic sequence for whatever, you can't really add too much movement. You can't really add too many phasers. You kind of have to rely on crowd sweeps are fine, but avoid. You can add, maybe if you want to have a handful of these that are unique to different colors, you can do that too. And then you can add like color phasers in, things like that. But keep phasers to a minimum. Keep those on your busking side of things. Turn the hazer off. And just invest in movement. How does this look? How do the beams look? What's the main character? I want the quantums to be the main character on this one, so I'm going to lean heavy on that. But just this kind of puts you in that headspace of, okay, I can get something out quickly. That's going to look good. That's going to feel good. That's going to have all the dynamics that I need. I've been relying on my busking stuff. I've invested time there. I know, kind of how a song flows. And so you've accounted for all of those things dynamically. And also the other thing too is make sure you can go back. So something, depending on your programming, and this is where I say kind of stay away from phasers, is if you need to go back to a cue, phasers can sometimes need to be reset, and maybe there's some timing that's not accounted for, and so it'll snap.